boys and girls, welcome to Garden Guitar. We have a nice song here from Sam Fender. He's been with us before in Garden Guitar. We had one song, I believe it was called Spit of You. It was very good, and back in the days we had this very popular here on Chord guitar. So yeah, I like this guy, Sam Fender. It's in some way very genuine when he sings. I don't know why I get that feeling, but yeah, probably because it is. Anyway, this is a great song, Wild Long Lie. So let's take a look at this song, and we have a couple of chords to go over, and it's pretty straightforward when it comes to the handling here. So no problems. We're gonna go into the song with a capo on the second fret. That's the best scenario for us. And with that, we have 6 different chords. So let's start with the chords. We have A first. Okay, that goes open A, second D, second G, second B, and open E. We have the GB chord. And it goes second on A, open D, open G, third B, and open E. We have C, and that goes third on A, second on D, open G, first B, and open E. D next, that will be open D, second G, third B, and second E. Then comes E minor, and that will be open E, second A, second D, open G, open B, open E. And finally, we have G. That will be third on E, second on A, open D, open G, third B, and third E. Okay, so we're gonna play just straight downs, okay? And I showed you 2 ways to do that in the introduction of the tutorial. One is with the first style, just straight downs in a slower tempo was the first I played in the introduction, and then I speed up to play twice as many downs, okay? But I'm gonna take it slow and educate you with this slow version of it, and I suggest you play like that first at least, and afterwards it sounds good to just take it slow. And that is pretty much how the song goes. But if you want to speed up a little bit, you can add to play twice as many downs as I teach. It works perfectly well that as well. So anyway, enough of that. Let's go into the actual song, starting with the first verse. So we have 2 different halves in this verse. They're very similar. It's just a matter of different endings there. So you're gonna play A, 3 downs. The GB 1, then C3, then D1, then E minor 2, C2, D3, and E minor 1. Okay, that's the first half with that ending of D3 and E minor 1. You play the second half exactly the same, but instead of playing D3, E minor 1, you play D4. Okay, everything else before there is the same, so that will be A, GB1, C3, D1, E minor 2, C2, and D4. And that is your first verse, okay? So in this case, you're gonna play 2 verses right after each other. So you're gonna play the second verse, and that is played exactly in the same way as this first we just learned. So you're gonna play all of this now for 2 rounds. So with these 2 endings, you have that as 1 round, you play it twice, and that's your both verse. Right after that comes the first chorus. Okay, you're just gonna continue the same downstrokes there. And this first chorus is about 4 rounds in total. The first 3 rounds goes like this: C3, E minor 1, D3, and E minor 1. That is 1 round. So 2 more rounds will be like this: C3, E minor 1, D3, E minor 1. Last round. fourth round is just a different ending. You have C3, E minor 1, D3, and now the last chord is G1. 1 with a pause. So C3, E minor, D3, G. Okay? So that is how you handle the chorus, the first one. Then comes an instrumental part after this chorus, and you're gonna play in the same way as you play the verse, the second part of it, okay? And that is with the ending of D4. So you're gonna play one round of that, A3, G, B, C3, D, E minor 2, C2, and D4. That's the instrumental part. Then comes the third verse. Okay, so this one differs a little bit from the other ones. We have 4 rounds in total. Okay, so it's twice as long as the other 2 verses. So what you're gonna do here is to play the exact same way. We have just to take care of the different endings there. So the first round, you're gonna play with the D4 ending. Round number 2 and number 3, you're gonna play with the ending of D3 and E minor 1. And the fourth and final round, you're gonna go back and play with the D4 ending. So that's a total of 4 rounds. D4, then round number 2, 3 is D3, E minor 1, and fourth round is D4. That's the third verse. And after that comes the second chorus. Okay. So what you're gonna do here is to play the C3, E minor 1, D3, E minor 1. You play that part for 8 rounds, okay? So 8 rounds of that, and you're just gonna skip the last with the G chord in the end there. We had that as the ending fourth round. In the first chorus, you're gonna play just 8 straight rounds of C3, E minor 1, D3, E minor 1. Okay. So that's that, and then after this second chorus comes a bridge part, and we're now about 2 minutes and 43 seconds into the song. You're gonna start this one with a C, and it will last just with 1 down and a big pause there. This pause has a value of 8. So imagine you count to 8, you play C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you continue with the next chord there. But that's how the bridge part starts, with 1 down on C and a long pause there. Then you're gonna play the rest, and you're gonna play E minor 2, D1, G1, C4, D4, and C4. That part with E minor, D, G, C, D, C, you're gonna play that for 4 rounds. So it goes like this: E minor 2, D, G, C4, D4, and C4. That is 1 round. Again. That was 2 rounds. You're gonna play for 4 rounds. That will be the bridge part. So just to summarize that part, it started with 1 down on the C. And the value of the pause that comes right after is 8, okay? And then you're gonna start this chord progression of E minor 2, D1, G1, C4, D4, and C4. And just to mention it, all of these E minor 2, D1, G1, and all these numbers, if you want to, you can just play 1 down on all of these chords, but it's good to have, or it's necessary to have those numbers beneath to know the value of the pauses in between. So if you choose to play just 1 down per chord, you have to count in your head, or just go with a feeling there of how long you're gonna stay on that chord before you switch to the next one. So in this case, with this, it will be like this, just for playing 1 down per chord: E minor 1, D, G, C, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Again. Okay, so that is how you're gonna think when you play this with only one down per chord, and that is more accurate actually than playing all of these downs. All these downs are good for you to have just to have the timing right. Okay, so enough of that bridge part. After that comes the solo part. It's now about 3 minutes and 34 seconds into the song. You're gonna play the verse play in the exact same way as you played it for the instrumental part before. The second part where you have the D4 ending. You're gonna play that for 4 rounds. Okay, 4 rounds of that chord progression of verse with a D4 ending. Then comes the third chorus. Okay, you're gonna play the C3, E minor 1, D3, and E minor 1 for 8 rounds. We know that about now. We have played it before, 8 rounds of that. And then you have the outro part left, and that is to play the chorus play, still 8 rounds of that C, E minor, D, E minor part. And then after that, you end with 1 down on the C. And that, my friend, ends Sam Fender's Wild Long Lie. So a great song, like always, from Mr. Fender. He's talented artist, and if you enjoy his music and my takes on them, my tutorials, then feel free to support me here on Guitar. I appreciate that a lot. So till next time, play tuned.